Hey guys, this is Daquan here, and this is my fourth creepypasta ever made. It's about a little boy who's 8 years old who gets dragged under his bed and into a different world. Well, with further ado, I give you Under the Bed. How can I start this off? It all happened back when I was just 8 years old. It was a difficult time for mom and I. You see, my dad had just recently passed away a few years back from cancer. My mom had struggled to pay bills and put food on the table. She had to work two jobs. The only times I could see her were in the morning when she dropped me off at school, and at night when she tucked me into bed. I never liked sleeping in my room alone at night, with all the ghouls, beasts, and monsters that lurk in the dark. I always would be frightened by the simple sound of a thud on my wall or a tap on my window because of raindrops. I screamed for my mom, and she'd come into my room to comfort me until I fell back to sleep. This has been going on for 3 years now, ever since I was 5 and my dad had passed away from cancer. Ever since that day, I have been having nightmares left and right of someone dragging me into a dark tunnel, and every time I screamed, nothing would come out. I then awake suddenly with beads of sweat dripping down my forehead. As I tried going back to sleep, I'd hear something crawling underneath my bed and would look down there to see a withered hand reach for me, trying to drag me under. Of course, I would scream to my mom, and she'd immediately come rushing into my room, comforting me with her warm grasp. My mom began to get annoyed at my constant calling to her in the night, so she decided to buy me a cheap nightlight and stuffed animal to help me through the terrifying dark night. On that night, she told me I had to be a big boy now and be alone because she couldn't comfort me every single night. Okay, Mom, I understand. I've been doing well for a few months until one night when my nightlight had went out. When at that very moment, I heard crawling under my bed. I was scared straight and just laid there, holding on to my teddy bear, Mr. Grams I called him, for dear life until morning struck and the sun's rays scared the creature away. This has been going on for a week straight now. I'd never get any sleep at night at home and will always fall asleep in class the next day. My teacher began to worry about me and decided to call my mom and have a meeting. My mother assured Miss Michaels that she took good care of me. The meeting was over within minutes. The car ride back home was quite awkward and silent until my mother had spoke up. Hey Chris, be honest with me. Do you sleep at night? No, Mom. Well, why don't you ever tell me? It's because I thought you'd be mad at me for not being a big boy. I'm sorry, honey. You know, she's just been really stressed lately with work, and I just needed some extra sleep. It's okay, Mom. I understand. That night, my mom tried to cheer me up by making my favorite dinner, chicken tenders and smiley fries. We both watched SpongeBob until I began to drift away to sleep. My mother had brought me into my room and laid me down in my bed. She had recently bought me a new nightlight and plugged it in which made my room feel a bit warmer and safe. She kissed me goodnight and went to bed. As I began to drift away to sleep, I began to hear buzzing. When I opened my eyes, I had seen my nightlight dimming in and out. No, 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 please no, I cried. And of course, it went out. Laying in my bed, in darkness, in my room, in complete silence, I decided to try and turn my nightlight back on. But when I reached out, something grabbed my arm and pulled me underneath the bed. Quickly, I tried to scream, but nothing would come out. The thing kept pulling me further and further under the bed into the darkness. I remember thinking, how long is this? I never knew my bed had something this deep under it. Getting deeper and deeper into the abyss, I began to hear groaning, crying, and screaming. It was dark everywhere, not a sight of light anywhere. My voice then began to come in. I began screaming for my mom, but I soon knew it was pointless because I was deep under my bed now, and no one would help me. The person, no thing, that was grabbing me had said, "Don't worry, child. I'll take special care of you once we get home." It looked at me. It had yellow, sharp teeth with bright reptilian eyes, the color of a lunar eclipse moon. I tried to pull away from its grasp, but the beast was too strong, and it hit me upside the head with a stone. As I began to fade away and pass out, I heard his voice one last time. There, my child. Everything will be okay. You'll live with Mommy forever. My vision within went black. I awoke in my room on my bed. Only thing is, it wasn't really my room. My entire surroundings felt different. Everything felt darker and a bit cold. The only light I had was coming from the moon outside. As I got out of bed, I felt a sharp pain shoot through the back of my head. I winced in pain. "Hello, who's there?" I didn't get a reply. Walking out of my room, I saw my hallway was dark and narrow. It was never like this before. As I got closer and deeper into the hallway, there was the shadow of a man on my mom's doorway. It had pointed downstairs. "Who are you?" I asked. The figure didn't respond. It just pointed down. And there downstairs on the landing was a lantern. As I went downstairs to get the lantern, I turned back around towards the shadow, and it wasn't there. I decided to walk around my house, or wherever I am, to get answers on how to get back. When I turned the corner into my living room, I heard faint crying. There on my couch was a little girl. "Hello? Excuse me, but do you know where I am?" The girl then looked up. "Shh! Don't speak so loud. Mother will hear you." "What? Who is that?" "Shh! Please be quiet." "Hello?" When I turned back around, the girl was gone. "Chris, you must escape. You must before Mother finds you." "Hello? How do you know my name? Where am I?" Chris, you must escape the shadow. When I turned around, the same shadow from upstairs pointed to the front door. Walking out of the door, I seen my street. All my neighbors' houses were in the exact same spot. I began to walk forward and further into the darkness. As I did, in the distance, I saw a large mountain with dozens of caves in it. As I came closer to the mountain, I began to smell rotting meat and flesh. Walking into one of the caves, there was a labyrinth of caves everywhere. Using the lantern I picked up earlier, I flashed it all around me and saw a large black door. I tried with all my strength to push it open, and it finally budged open with a small crack enough for me to slip through. When I walked in, the room smelled of rotten meat, and it grew stronger. There in front of me was a creature ripping flesh off of an infant. Eating it, I began to back away slowly, but I stepped on the bone, causing a crunching noise. The sound caused the creature to look at me.
"Oh, there you are, son. Come give mommy a kiss."
I threw a bone at it and began running away. The creature let out a loud screech and began chasing me.
"Come back to mommy, Chris."
"You're not my mom!" The creature was fast and caught up to me and slammed me on the hard cave floor, staring at me in the face.
"My oh my, son. You look ravishingly tough and sore. Why don't you have mother take you back inside and tender you up a bit?"
Its breath smelled like rotting flesh. Red slime began to ooze out of its mouth, dripping on my face. The creature then began pulling me back into the lair. As we got in, it began chaining me to the cave's wall and walked away. As I sat there crying, the same whispering voice that I heard began to speak.
Don't worry, Chris. I won't let her harm you.
"How do you know my name? Who are you?" Mother then came back into the room.
"Dinner's almost prepared, darling. Why don't you come and join mother?"
As it unlocked my chains, I immediately tried to escape, pulled my legs, causing me to fall and bust my face on the hard stone floor. Blood began to ooze from my nose. As I was pulled away, there was the same shadow standing in front of both of us. He then touched Mother, causing her to become paralyzed.
Run.
I then began to run away out of that labyrinth of caves. My street wasn't in front of the large mountain anymore. Matter of fact, the whole scene changed completely. I was on a beach. Waves were slowly brushing and crashing against the shore. The surrounding area was eerie and quiet. As I began to walk on the shore, dark figures began to emerge from the water. There were hundreds of shadows that then began to move towards me. I broke off into a sprint, but there was too many of them. They all began circling me, closing in on me. I was cornered. There was nowhere for me to go. One of them grabbed me. Its touch felt cold, and its grasp was strong. The shadow began pulling me into the water, followed by others. I kept trying to escape from them, but their grasp was too strong. They had a death grip on all of my limbs. I saw what they were dragging me to, and it terrified me. They were dragging me to a deep trench. There was moaning coming from it. I seen a man swimming from it, but he got dragged back down by large black arms. I tried screaming, but forgot I was underwater and began drowning. Before I started to drift away into unconsciousness, I seen a familiar face.
Dad?
The shadow then gave me back my lantern. The light caused the shadows to swim away in fear. The familiar face then faded away and began to become a shadow again. The man began to hold me and swimming up to the surface and on the shore.
Come with me.
As I followed the shadow back into the mountain, I finally realized it was my dad. I don't know how, I just felt his presence.
Get back here, you damn brat.
When I turned around, I seen Mother chasing us.
Run, Chris. I'll stop her.
But Dad, no, I miss you.
Chris, go now. Before she catches up.
As I ran, tears began falling down my face. I looked back one last time to see Mother trapped on the ground by my dad's grasp. It looked as if he was absorbing her. As I ran out of that cave, I eventually saw my bedroom from underneath my bed. I began to hear the same groaning and moaning when I first entered this place. There was a small opening in the cave wall for me to crawl through and finally leave this place. As I crawled through from under my bed, I sealed the hole back with my bright lantern. When I got back into my actual room, I crashed onto my bed and went straight to sleep in exhaustion from the events that just occurred. When I woke up, I immediately told my mother. She just dismissed it as a nightmare and told me she'd sleep in my room that night to prove nothing would take me. That night, my mom flashed a light underneath my bed to there being nothing but my wall and shoes. I could say some horror cliche like I kept hearing sounds under my bed, but no, nothing happened. I'm 30 years old now and have children of my own. None of them had experiences like I guess I'm the only one in the family who had it. I have no idea why I even told you all this. I guess I'm trying to get all of this off my chest and tell other people. But I also have a feeling that the shadow realm will open back up again, causing everyone to suffer in that forsaken place, and living in utter darkness, shivering in that cold terrain, with no one to accompany them, but loneliness and the shadows that lurk in the dark. And that day, I believe, will be humanity's last.